Hey there, Internet friends, and welcome to That D Plus Show. Class is in session for the only show from that nerdy site that lets you know what kind of quality to expect right from the name. I'm your host, Trevor Starkey, and each week we sit down with guests to talk about a Disney Plus offering of their choosing. This show is made possible entirely by the support of our patrons over at patreon.com/thatnerdysite. If you like the show and can support us over there, we would definitely appreciate it. But if you can't, no big deal. The fact that you're listening is awesome, and of course, we would love it if you like, subscribe, rate, review, and share the podcast with your friends. Joining me today, we have the entirety of the PAX East 2020 team. We have Logan Wilkinson.
What's up, Trevor?
What's up? We got Cameron Abbott.
Hey, what's going on, nerds?
We got Frank Bazzani.
What's up, nerds?
What's up? And making his That D Plus Show debut, we have Christian Puente. How you doing, Christian?
English up.
Whoa. English up indeed.
It's like English. That what up?
Yeah.
That what up, yeah. This week, we are talking, as that tease alludes to, about none other than Brink.
I don't know if that's such a great tease.
It's not, but it is one of the few things that, like, when you type in GIF, or when you type in Brink for GIFs, that is one of the few GIFs that comes up, like, right at the front. It means English. That what up. Anyway, we're talking about the classic Disney Channel original movie, Brink, which we decided to all sit down and watch while we were here in Boston for PAX East 2020, and then record an episode of That D Plus Show. Normally we would throw it to kind of the guest who chose the thing to describe their pick. I picked it basically because it is one of the, if not the best Disney Plus show. I know we got some Johnny Tsunami fans around the table.
All over in town as well.
But this one probably stands out as my favorite, and certainly the first real good one.
Yeah.
That stood out and stood the test of time, and still is like regularly quoted in things to this day.
I'm really amazed at how well it's stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Where, like, it's still just a good, fun movie.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Yeah, it was delightful. We had a great time watching it. It was a ton of fun. This is a movie that came out when I was 13, so I was like prime Brink age, and rewatching it here for a movie that I haven't watched in probably 10, 15 years, it struck me as like, wow, I must have watched this a ton when I was a kid because of how many like shot-for-shot moments I remembered about this film. This was pretty much everybody else around the table also had watched this many, many times. With the exception of Christian, this was Christian's very first time watching the show, so I will look very forward into hearing kind of Christian's thoughts on the film. But first, we're going to dive into a quick little history lesson about Brink. Brink exclamation point, sorry. It was originally released August 29th, 1998. It has a nice little runtime of an hour and 39 minutes. Mm-hmm. It is one of 3 Disney Channel original movies released in 1998. This was before they were doing like once a month kind of DCOMs. It was after June 27th, You Lucky Dog, and before October 17th, Halloween Town.
So that was like right after.
Probably. Yeah, that's where it falls in the timeline of Disney Channel original movies. The who's who of this film are handy dandy roll call. The director, Greg Beeman, had done a few episodes of The Wonder Years before this.
Oh, damn. Hell yeah.
He had done the movie Bushwhacked with Daniel Stern.
Wow. Damn.
Wow, what a pull.
Yeah.
He did the original Disney Channel original movie Under Wraps in 1997.
Yo, okay.
Is that about a mummy or something?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have not thought about that in 20 years.
Wow.
I think I saw that one time.
Yeah. And then he has done a lot of TV stuff since this, including episodes of Heroes, Smallville, and most recently the TV show Lucifer.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
You have the writer Jeff Schechter, who had done Dennis the Menace Strikes Again.
Oscar award.
Yeah.
And he went on to write The Other Me, which is another Disney Channel original movie that had stepped out, that got a shout out last week when we talked about Mom's Day with a Vampire, the Andy Lawrence as a clone one kind of thing. You have, in terms of the starring, you have Eric Von Detten, Brink himself, Andy Brinker, who had been in the Escape to Witch Mountain Disney reboot in 1995, 1995. He was Sid in Toy Story, and then would later go on to reprise that role in Toy Story 3, like 20 years later. And then he was also in The Princess Diaries, and his character name was Student Josh Bryant, as if there was another Josh Bryant in that film. But yeah, this I think is probably one of the things he's certainly most known for, but he certainly had like the kind of recognizable look at the time. Sam Horrigan, who plays Val, had done Little Giants before this.
Oh yeah, I did.
He was like the bully on the bad guys team for that one.
On
He
the
also
Cowboys.
had been in Escape to Witch Mountain with Eric Von Detten. And then since then he has done kind of a handful of TV appearances. Nothing too major. Christina Vidal, who played Gabriella, did a few miscellaneous projects prior to this, but she's done very consistent TV work afterwards. Never like she hasn't had any kind of like major breakout roles, but looking through IMDb, she's been doing a few projects a year basically every year since 1998 when this came out. You had potentially one of the biggest stars in this thing at the time, Walter Jones, playing Boomer, who best known as the iconic Zack the Black Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And then, I don't know if anybody else remembers this show, but there was a little show, I believe on Nickelodeon, it might have been Disney, called Space Cases.
Yeah.
That ran for a couple seasons, and he was kind of like the the ship captain on that. It was like a bunch of teenagers that had been like set off on it. It was basically like a Lost in Space, but with like a teen squad instead of like a family. And the other thing I remember from that was Jewel Staite was in that before like Firefly. And so when she showed up on Firefly years later, I was like, oh, I had such a crush on her in this Space Cases TV show. You have Katie Bolding, who played Katie Brinker here. Prior to this, she had done the Teen Angel TV show, and then she went on to be in Smart House, another classic Disney Channel original movie. You have David Graff, who was playing the father, Ralph Brinker, who had done all of the Police Academy movies. Logan and I used to do a West Wing podcast called West Wing in It, where I did a feature similar to this, where we kind of highlighted like the cameos that we would see in those, and I had highlighted him in episodes of The West Wing as the guy who'd been in the Police Academy movies. So it only seems fitting to bring that full circle and bring him in here, as he had also been on The West Wing. Sadly, he passed away a few years after this in 2001, so his career was cut short there. And then the last one of note, completely throwaway character in this, but we all recognized him when he showed up on the screen. The science teacher is played by Tom Virtue, who was also in Under Wraps, and he would later go on to be the dad in Even Stevens on the Disney Channel.
Also in Moms at a Date.
Was he?
Yeah, Dad Lizzie McGuire. Yeah, he's the.
No, this is the dad from Even Stevens. The dad from Lizzie
Oh,
McGuire
I see,
was in Moms at a Date.
Right.
Yeah, this was the dad from Even Stevens. So a little bit of trivia for the Brink.
Okay.
As I already touched on, Sam Horrigan and Eric Von Detten had worked together 3 years earlier on the Disney TV remake Escape to Witch Mountain. Eric Von Detten and Patrick Levis, who played Peter, had both previously appeared on So Weird. According to IMDb, so take this with a grain of salt, this movie inspired the 2011 game Brink, which quote also features rollerblading.
So did they just let anybody in IMDb trivia? It's like Wikipedia?
If you have an IMDb account, you can basically go in and create a thing, and like unless it gets reported or something, it stays there. You usually have like very few likes on those kinds of facts that are like, maybe. I spent far too much time in the media room here at PAX actually looking at the 2011 game Brink to see if I could find any reference to them saying yes, the TV or the movie had helped influence the game.
I appreciate you trying to fact check it.
I found nothing. I moved on.
Unconclusive results.
But I threw it in here because IMDb had it and I thought it was funny. The one that I did also fact check and did check out is that the film is loosely based on the novel Hans Brinker, or The Silver Skates, by Mary Maples Dodge. It is from the 1800s, but it was about, it was about like an ice skater kind of kid.
They were the original Soul Skaters.
What is that?
Wow, that is wild.
And then the last one this was, as we kind of touched on, this was the third Disney Channel original movie, and what I think most would consider to be the first real standout one. Under Wraps definitely has its fans, but yeah, this was the one that I think first really launched Disney Channel original movie into its own kind of echelon of the thing, Disney kind of content.
The fact that Brink is based off an 1800s ice skating novel is maybe the greatest piece of information I've heard in so long. It like upends so much of my life. It's like, what are you like? What?
Yeah,
I know it's like wild.
I don't
like,
even read.
Like we're gonna have just like a that recite read of this book and come back at you. Like,
I want to read this now though because I want to get to the page where she talks to somebody and then the answer is
just
skate better.
But it's just
like
actual words were just skate better line. Yeah.
So from the Hans Brinker or the Silver Skates Wikipedia page.
Hell yeah. It's a real thing.
It is a novel by American author Mary Mapes Dodge, first published in 1865. The novel takes place in the Netherlands and is a colorful fictional portrait of early 19th century Dutch life, as well as a tale of youthful honor. The book's title refers to the beautiful silver skates to be awarded to the winner of the ice skating race Hans Brinker hopes to enter. The novel introduced the sport of Dutch speed skating to Americans, and in U.S. media, Hans Brinker is still considered the prototypical speed skater.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. I had to read this book in elementary school.
All right.
The best part about this...
Brink has been a part of my life for such a long time.
The best part of this to me...
Was based on the timeline of things, did you read this before the movie Brink, or did you see Brink before you were in elementary school?
How old are fourth graders?
10 roughly.
Oh my gosh, I was inundated with Brink and I didn't even know it. Like, it all hit me at the same age, man.
The best part about this to me is the fact that meant that one of the writers on this film not just had read this book, but like knew this book.
No,
like
this book also
knew
is
this
notable
book
for
very well.
For popularizing the story of the little Dutch boy who plugs a dike with his finger.
Yes, yeah, that is also here in the Wikipedia page. Other film adaptations. A 1958 Hallmark Hall of Fame live television musical, Hans Brinker and the Silver Skates, directed by Sidney Lumet and starring Tab Hunter as Hans. 1962 made-for-TV Disney film starring Roni Zehner, shown in two parts on Walt Disney Anthology television series. I wonder if that's on Disney Plus.
Oh my god.
1969 NBC made-for-TV musical starring Robin Asquith as Hans, and the 1998 very loose modern adaptation or homage, Brink, a made-for-TV Disney Channel film. The story takes place in LA, California, and centers around competitive inline skating rather than ice skating. Wow. Stars Eric Von Detten as Andy Brinker. So, yep, that one definitely checks out.
Yep. When they say adaptation, they mean kind of in the way that Fast and Furious came from like a one-page article in a magazine. So, ran with it.
Yep. There you go.
Oh my gosh, no, like there's not only that, there's 4 sources for this.
Yeah. All right.
What the heck?
Let us.
There are scientific articles on Wikipedia that don't have 4 sources.
Yeah. Let us dive in. How does this movie hold up, everybody?
So good.
It was really good.
It's really good.
Fantastic.
Like, I was really happy with how this is one of the ones I've been dreading since we kind of like conceived of this show. I was like, man, I really don't want to watch Brink and suddenly Brink is bad. This is because that was kind of what you dealt with, Cameron, a few weeks ago. You weren't on the episode, but you had kind of wanted to do up and away.
Broke my heart watching that film. I'm like, I remember this being so much better.
Yeah, but Brink was really good. Christian, as you coming into it for the first time, how did you feel it held up? What did you think?
Man, it was good. Like, I mean, you'll find out. Obviously, I have a lot of problems with it, but overall, like, yeah, I would watch again. I won't roll my eyes if anybody brings up Brink. Like, oh, like, you know, I'd be like, yeah, I dig it. Like, because it's very Fast and Furious. It's very silly and cheesy but it also has like a lot of heart too.
Yeah. It's very in on the joke, I think, too. Yeah, like it's very much like it is such a 90s movie that it's like come around the bend and become like almost this great like this is what the 90s actually were like, man, like deep thing. In addition to being like Chris said, like weirdly like deep and emotional, like one scene in particular involving Brink and his dad, and it's just like wow, that was actually like a really deep.
Where like Brink's about to cry.
Yeah, it's like a really.
I was about to
Yeah, like
cry.
it's the thing.
Yeah,
Like
I know,
it was
right?
like a
Yeah.
weirdly deep, like meditation, like life and like what it's about, and like all this different. It's like wow, what movie did you walk into? You're like it was like super
Are you
wise.
referring to the porch scene or the garage scene?
The garage scene, like both, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
technically, like it's
Both-
one
both of those
continuous
scenes-
scene.
Because one is like the exhaustion of being an adult, like hitting Brink.
Like it, the
And-
movie.
Oh my god! And then
Yeah,
the
it's
garage
so well
one is,
done.
Like,
The garage scene is like
the garage
incredible.
scene, he's
like,
holding like the little skate, and his dad's like, "I like skating too," so I thought, "Heck, my kid might like."
yeah,
it
and
too."
like his whole thing of like, I don't know, like the movie's better than I remember it being is the thing. Like it's like it's fun. It goes by very quickly, like Christian said, and like it has these like emotional notes that like really do land that you wouldn't think they would hold up, but it does. And I mean, out of what I've watched for this show so far in my 3 episodes now, like it is, I think, far and away the best television movie that we've seen so far.
Yeah. I think it benefits from one of the things I touched on earlier in that this was before Disney Channel original movies were being like cranked out like a
Yes.
factory. Like every month has to have a new Disney Channel original movie. The fact that this was the third and that like the one prior to this had been a few months earlier and there'd really only been one other one the year before that meant that this one had a little bit more room to breathe. It had, I think, more production.
He
and
filmed
more-
like an action
more
movie.
time behind it. And I think you see that in some of the shots.
There's a lot more locations.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like instead of it just being in the same school in like in like a gymnasium somewhere,
Yeah.
like the cook-off movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good point too, Trevor, right? Because like another movie, I think the movie that you hear the most action in terms of like being like maybe the best Disney Channel movie, or certainly one that people are the most passionate about, is like Halloween Town, which is one directly after this, and so again had a long window before it had to be like like October to June, I think, is 4 or 5 months in between that and what becomes after Halloween Town. I think is a big break too, and even like Johnny Tsunami, which is the next year, isn't one where it's on a monthly cycle yet either. Like these movies have time to just be made like movies, and I have to be like cranked out as quick as possible.
As somebody who's watched all of the things we've done so far, and this being my 5th Disney Channel original movie, this is leaps and bounds my favorite of the 5.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean that's only
admittedly,
because Darby O'Gill and the Little People is in the
It's
Disney
not-
Channel movie.
Yeah, sure.
That one, I think we talked. I don't remember if we talked about it on the show or whatnot, but like I talked with Logan about
Yeah.
this last week. I think after we finished recording of like where I would rank everything, and I was like, I mean, I would. Darby O'Gill is definitely near the bottom of the list. Like
How dare you, sir?
the good things that I have at this point are like Goofy Movie and the Imagineering Story, and then there's like all the Disney Channel original movie stuff and Eternals and Darby O'Gill. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I'll put Darby O'Gill above like a couple of the Disney Channel original movies probably, but
You wouldn't put it above the Eternals.
like the Eternals at least has like a production value, and the Eternals definitely has issues. And I went back and like watched the rest of the episodes and whatnot, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably good they didn't bother taking this past the season, but like also Darby O'Gill was just like dumb and
How dare you, sir?
very very dated. So like not
dare
dated in the like sense of Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, the dad from that being super bad and dated, but still was a very dated film.
How Sean Connery, sir?
Yes, indeed.
He was in that film,
But
and it was excellent.
yeah, we'll get to the grading of all this stuff later. But let's dive into some of our favorite and maybe least favorite moments, if there are any, of Brink. So who wants to take a stab at a favorite moment first?
Right up with that, I think one of my favorite moments is and I'm going first because I want to take it. The milkshake scene.
Okay.
Oh, that's you're gonna go for it.
100% just perfect.
Pure escalation out of nowhere. Like,
Well, just
hold
it's
on call.
so good
Yeah.
because like they're sitting down, they're like, "We're so cool, we're Team
Yeah.
X-Blades." No, man, I don't want the vanilla shake. I get the chocolate shake. I always get the chocolate shake. It's like, Val, you've only ever eaten vanilla. You said you hated chocolate. Well, now I want chocolate. That wasn't the actual dialogue, but Val was just awful. And would say something like that. So Val, and it's just they're at this. They have that pristine looking pizza. Like they're just like they're winning. They're winning so hard, and in comes Brink throwing the skates on the pizza,
which is
splitting
messed
it
up.
perfect.
Yeah.
And it's just like, first off, that pizza looked delicious. How dare
Ruined
you?
it, yeah.
And then he tops it off by like saying like that it like this, and I would have like given you back your shirts, but I felt so bad about that, like about them, that I burned them. It's like it's so aggressive. And then on top of it, he goes, "Oh yeah," and he grabs the chocolate milkshake, and in the best, like I've never seen a better like use of any kind of like ice cream related prop. The perfect throw, and the way that it just lands on Val is just perfection.
Like a cement mixer.
Oh my gosh, it looks like
thick,
it. It's so thick and perfect. And you see, they just like you see all of Val's details just covered in like just a layer of chocolate.
It's legitimately like a cartoon. Like it's his eyes
Yeah.
through just like a brown sheet.
Like his eyes open, and it's like, oh my, it's perfect. And then immediate scene after the transition where clearly they had to reset the shot or whatever, and so it's like it's melted off of them quite a bit. But it's such a perfect moment of like prop execution. I think Frank, you and I talked like we'd love to find the guy who's in charge of props and like in charge of stunts and whatnot, just to like ask him, be like, and Frank was like, oh, he'd probably be like, oh yeah, you guys want to know about how we did the inline skates? It's like, no sir, we want to know how did you get the milkshake to be so perfect with the way it landed.
It's like, we did that take 57 times, like with 48 different props. Like, we just had to get it right.
Marty Scorsese in, and he nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's gonna be the garage scene.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's the emotional high, and I think for me too, because like I didn't remember that as well. Like it wasn't as like wedged in my memories much of everything else, and then it came out of nowhere.
When you're a kid, you remember the skating stuff. You remember stuff with the kids. You don't remember like the real stuff with like, the
and
family.
like it's so emotionally like resonant, right? And like I think it works so well 20 years later. And like his whole message, like it's not what you do, it's like who you are, like matter. Like skating is what you do, it's not who you are. Like who you are is like a son, it's a great friend, right?
It's who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, and I think that it's like really beautiful. And I think being at PAX East and watching that movie surrounded by like a group of best friends, it was like holy fuck, like that came out of nowhere and like emotionally like blindsided me in a way that I didn't really recognize. And this whole weekend has kind of been a version of like it's not what we're doing, it's just the fact that we're around each other and around so many other friends. And like I don't know, like I think it's super beautiful and poignant in any film, but even more so in Brink, and even more so for an audience that would be young and would want to be like trying to do everything. And it's like, hey, like also though, like ultimately it doesn't matter what you do as long as you just kind of surrounded by a good group of people. So that is, and also like the actor's committed. That's the thing. Like the dad committed and like landed it, and Brink like did his part, and it was like it's like the best acted part in the movie that has acting wise is all over the map. But that scene, I think they really kind of did it, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I echo that. That like that scene, I did not remember as much as I remembered so much of the other elements of the movie. And yeah, I was like, I'm surprised by how like moved I am and how emotionally like resonant this is, because it's not even just that scene. It's their whole dynamic is that like stereotypical but also very real. Like I very much resonate with that father who isn't really emotionally available and doesn't talk. I love my dad and I know my dad loves me, but like we don't have those kinds of conversations. No. We don't have heart to hearts where we talk about real things or my dreams or his dreams or any of that kind of stuff. So like up until this scene, like that's the dynamic that they have. It is like, no, I don't want you to take this job because there isn't a future in it, all that kind of stuff, and not knowing how to talk to him, and so like that scene is just like the scene that like anybody who has one of those relationships wants to have with their dad, or the dad wants to be able to connect with their son.
And if you're lucky, you get it once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
So. And yeah, no, I 100% think that when Brink breaks down and his dad's just like, really, what's wrong? And Brink goes, I didn't listen to you. I didn't do what you told me to do. I took the job with Team X-Blades. And, like, really, I wanted, and, like, he just opens up to his dad in such a real way that it's like, I forgot, I just did not remember how poignant that moment is.
It became a different movie for, like, 10 minutes. And, like, it was, like, honestly, though, and, like, it like, elevated so much of this movie for me. Like, it made all the, like, Brink and his father interactions before that, I think, work in such a new light that I think made them stronger.
Well, so like I completely agree with everything that's already been said on this scene, and I do think it is like probably one of my favorite parts of the movie too, for everything we've talked about. But that's where, kind of like you're saying there, that's where like the scene before that on the porch where they can't have that moment, I think is also very impactful. Because even like I've had that with my dad, where we just can't connect on that, and even being like a pissed off teenager, where you're just like, I don't want to talk about it, like go away, like like I'll figure it out, like. So I'm like, but it's nice when you get to a little bit later in the movie there when it is like, no, like he comes outside and then they actually do get to have this like bonding moment.
Yeah. Christian, how about you? Do you have any like favorite moments that stand out to you from kind of this first viewing?
Not like a single moment, but I wanted to like just give a shout out to the opening. Like your first interaction with Brink and his family is just complete 90s vibe. Like it felt like just like a more developed version of like those like kind of cringy like cereal commercials where the parents and the kids are just like completely disconnected. Like the parents like, I don't get this kid, and the kids are just like, I do what I want. Like
Tricks are for kids.
Yeah, like but I also like it was funny, but at the same time before like the story kicked off, like there was also like a surprisingly amount of like wholesomeness to it. Like he was very affectionate with his mom and dad, even though the dad doesn't really get him. Like he like appreciated the sandwich and was up and early and everything. Like it was surprisingly wholesome, even though it did have that like weird, wacky, generational like disconnect between.
Yeah, I completely blanked out on the bologna sandwich, the whitest of the white sandwiches kind of thing.
100%
I
the
love
whitest sandwich you could get.
That is definitely that, but I love the bit that they have where he's like, "What's for lunch?" and he's like, "Your least favorite." And like, "Here you go," and he's like, "Thanks." And like, and I like that even though they have that disconnect, it's like that's one of those things that they've probably been doing that bit like his entire life.
Yeah.
So I feel like the context of thinking about it, like they still have that, even though they don't have like this other side of the relationship.
Well, that's really typical of those kinds of relationships.
Yeah.
Is that you do have a way of communicating, but it's very superficial. You don't really get to those deep moments. And I think that, like, here's the thing, like, Brink's dad is great.
Yeah. I mean, even like that choice, like, is reinforcing the dire straits that their family is in financially.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good point too.
It is like, the mom's not able to sell houses, or she's not, and the dad's not working, so all they can really afford is like white bread and the cheapest of the cheap bologna. And it's like, it's one of those things, like, I don't think they put that much thought into it. I mean, kudos if they did, and shout out to them.
I mean, they went back to a book from the 1860s,
so
we don't know how much thought they put into Brink.
But maybe bologna was Hans Brinker's favorite as well.
Yeah.
Who knows?
With extra mayo.
I don't recall.
Which let me just say, they should have retired Brinker and just changed to like Brinkman. Like it's just there's so much already weird about this movie. Like when we have the review,
Christian's getting to his least favorite.
When we have a review like, what's Brink? Where's that from? I'm like, oh, it's just from his last name. Like Brink. It's already weird that his name is Brink. Like the regular name is even weirder. Like,
all right, Pixel Brave.
Yeah.
Pixel Braveman.
Frank, do you have a favorite moment you want to shout out and highlight?
So yeah, we've already talked about kind of a lot of my favorite moments, I think, but one way I would highlight, kind of going to what you were saying too, especially probably what I liked the most when I was a kid, a lot of those like inline skating scenes.
Yeah.
I definitely think about the my main thing, I guess I'll cut to that first because I like it more, is the downhill race between him and Val.
Yeah.
Classic, we're gonna settle this like downhill race, it's between us, and then like, I love those moments there, and he finally does, like, the jump thing that he was talking about earlier, and, like, they seed that in, and then I also love that, like, he Val falls or whatever, and even on purpose, I guess I assume in the context later.
Yeah.
Wherein he's like, you never did learn to like never leave a man and just finish the race or whatever, and he like pulls him in and like the camera dude's there. He's like, I got it all on film.
Yeah.
We got him.
Very
we got
excitedly,
It.
yeah.
Yeah.
ESPN covering the thing.
Yeah. Which I bet
Ladies
they
and gentlemen, we got him.
all those ESPN people know probably what an asshole he is and what he's doing, and they finally were like, we got him on camera. We're gonna ruin this
Filming
kid's
every
career.
event, yeah.
We're going to ruin this 16-year-old
child. Yeah,
career.
think of the exact same wavelength him.
We're gonna sink this kid.
Possibly mentally ill.
Gonna cancel this kid. But yeah, like I don't know, like for me, it's the downhill skating scene with him and
Gabrielle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like
That's a great
like,
one too.
That's one of the scenes in the movie that like is most like emblazoned in my mind. In particular, the shot of like Val like throwing the rocks on the ground and like looking at it and just being like, yeah, and like hiding into the bushes, whatever.
Oh no, he just like skates further down.
Yeah, and then like Gabrielle comes down, just slow mo, like crashes and burns into the thing.
I remember being much more violent when I was younger.
No, that's still pretty violent, dude.
Oh, when we saw the road rash, we all were like, "Oh God!"
Yeah,
No,
and I had that
but
reaction when I was a kid.
the impact of the crash itself,
Yeah.
because it was done like about like, oh no,
No, I think she was
No,
rolling.
No, it was not. It was.
I felt it was
It was
very.
in slow motion, but it was still like
She like was
She
bouncing
really
up and
didn't.
down that rock.
I think
yeah.
it's. I thought it's because I recognized like repeated frames, but that's fine. What I will say is once again when they showed the road rash, yes, we all were like, oh no.
Yeah.
I've been there too, especially as like a skater
But
who used to be whipping down hills.
let me
and stuff.
emphasize though, as a child, I thought that injury was far worse.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
it was
thought she had
rough.
like come down the entire hill and it was awful. And when she's like just with her like rough arm and like some soreness in her shoulder, in my head in that moment when she's in bed, just like in recuperation, she's like laid out, like cast everything, and like for some reason in my head as a kid I was like, this is so much worse.
That's always one that stuck out to me was that individual scene.
Yeah, one of the other things I want to shout out as an incredible high point. We talked a little bit about like the location shots. Specifically, there's a ton of like the golden hour, those kinds of shots there on the beach at the skate park kind of thing, where it's like the sun has that perfect golden light in the background, and they did a ton of those kinds of scenes,
Which
and
weirdly
this looks so much better than certainly any of the ones we've looked at so far in terms of Disney Channel original movies.
What beaches did they were on? A specific beach.
Venice
Beach.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny
the
to
scene
me.
that they're at is like a very famous Venice Beach spot.
Yeah, because that's where there's like a gym there and like all those like surf bowls or skate bowls and stuff like that. Because all that stuff is actually there for the most part, except for the like tournament ramps.
Yeah,
I think it is funny to me though that not only did they get all these beautiful shots for that, it also like works in the context of the movie where they're at school so they can't go until like the afternoon.
Yeah.
Like it's very much that like kid thing of like they're out playing and they have to be back home by dark.
Yeah.
So like they're just
Which is
getting these
incorporated
last.
into the movie because they have to leave by some point in time. If the
But
dude's
also-
going to run out of sunlight, they can't be there anymore.
Yeah, and like I just kind of love that about that too.
I also think that it's very cool because it's like that's also like their special place where like they still skate,
Yeah.
and so it has that perfect golden glow to it
Mhm.
because bad things can't happen there. And then when we suddenly don't have that golden glow there, it's because it's been run.
Damn.
Because Brink sold out.
Damn, I got deep at the end there.
I did like the like when they're invitational too, because clearly I guess in hindsight looking into this, like a lot of those other skaters are actual like
Skaters,
inline
I'm
skaters
sure,
at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude who did the backflip is absolutely an
Yeah,
inline
oh
skater.
my
There's
god, the guy who's
no
doing the
way.
one-handed,
Yeah.
sideways, like, S shape, yeah.
Which I also, again, appreciating the like how much they actually kind of did put into the movie. Like that guy was winning, and then he gets hurt and gets like knocked out of the competition, and he can't finish. And then now they're like, oh, now Brink actually has a chance or whatever. Or now X Blades has a chance, and that's why I'm like, oh, because I was like, why would X Blades ever win? Like all they keep doing is the 540s and stuff, and this dude literally did a one-handed backflip like over the thing.
No, the injury one was
That was the dude that did he was the purple dude that did the backflip.
Was that in the
That was the
Invitational?
Invitational, yeah.
I thought that was the championship.
Yeah, no, it was in the championship. It was in the second round of the championship. Because the championship was the 3 stages.
Yeah.
You had the
Yeah, the Invitational was
you
just
had
to beat him out.
Okay.
Outright.
Yeah, you had the track, you had the vert, which is where that guy fell, and then the two teams in the lead at the
Downhill
end
race,
have the downhill race.
Yeah.
And I called this out while we were watching it, but like our adult love of Fast and Furious is certainly
It's just
recalled
straight
here
up Tokyo
because this
Drift.
is just the end of Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
But done better. So
That's a lie. That is a lie. I will not have that
No.
slander on this podcast.
absolutely done
Tokyo
better.
Drift is a terrible movie.
It's the worst Fast and Furious movie. It's
It's
one of the worst
100%
movies I've ever seen. It's
Well,
so
you
bad.
just love Tokyo.
Well,
And, like,
yeah.
I can appreciate your love of Tokyo pulling you through there, Cameron, but Lucas Black in that movie is just
Awful.
friggin'
Once
atrocious.
again,
Awful.
you've mixed up our names again, Trevor.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's late.
It's like, Dave,
We've been,
relax.
we've been recording for
It's
4 hours.
1:25 in the morning when we're recording this podcast.
And we just finished the 2.5 to 3 hour epic of that Nerdy Strike Show episode 18, I think.
And it's day 4 of PAX East
Yeah,
2020.
yeah. It has been a long ass week.
Day 5.
So I apologize for mixing up your guys' names. But yeah, Tokyo Drift is bad.
Yep.
No bad. The drifting is fine, but the movie is bad. But it is done better here.
Yeah.
And was done better here in 1998.
Including the Imaginary film cuts just following them every step of the way.
Yeah. Well, we actually see the film crew
In certain spots, except for that one moment where they just cut out for some random reason they can't film it. Yeah.
the moment where it's a blind spot, but then we see cameramen in that blind
In the
spot.
back shot, yeah.
But yeah, like the action of the movie is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The skating was certainly great. I remember going by skate parks and stuff growing up and seeing like all those kinds of like the structures and everything, being like, oh, it's cool, it's just like Brink or whatever. But yeah, it's like I have an appreciation for the actual skating that they're doing. Obviously, like they all, I'm sure, had stunt skaters and stuff, but still, like the skates that we see during the competition and whatnot are impressive. Actions. It gets a little confusing because we were like, well, they're just doing 540s. They're doing 540s. Why is it so impressive when he does like an inverted 540? Or he just did a 720. Why is it impressive when he does a 540? And it was like, well, now it's an inverted 540, so he did it upside down or whatever. That is a little hard to follow if you're not like, or if you weren't into extreme sports or whatever. And the movie doesn't really help you along there. It's just spouting out move, move, move. But still, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's a good movie, guys.
It's a real good movie.
Any other moments we want to highlight? Of course, you have like iconic moments like Skate Better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I guess that's just without
better.
saying.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I don't know if I should say this is like one of my favorite parts of the movie, but I kind of like when like Brink goes to visit Gabriella, and then there's that whole interaction between Brink and Gabriella's mom, who they already established is like this kind of like a hard ass or something. But she's just like, it's so funny to me that she's just like, oh, Brink, like, it's so
Yeah. Yeah, Skate Better is a great moment. Team Pup and Suds, of course, delightful. I think Cameron and I were joking about the fact that like the idea of soul skating feeds into that 90s narrative that you get in stuff like Rent and whatnot of like, oh, doing it for the love of it should be enough instead of wanting to get paid for it. Because like, no, getting paid for it would be even better.
Yeah.
And they like the idea of like that meaning, oh, you're selling out is like, no,
Stop, man.
that's so dumb.
Don't sell out.
Those kids are dumb.
You're not
They should
selling out. You're
absolutely-
buying in.
Those kids should absolutely want to get paid for the awesome skating they're doing. Did you have something, Christian?
Well, just like
Christian moved his entire body, to get it.
Well, piggybacking off of that, like I this is my first time watching it, and I didn't think that would be like a continuous through line. I thought that was gonna drop that like after he got what?
This is the 90s, man. That was a big plot point for a lot of movies.
I've lost motivation for what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry.
Let's keep going.
Okay. Well, I mean, so you didn't think it was? You thought they were gonna see like, hey, yeah, money is good.
Well, no,
we should want to get paid for this.
Well, I figured. Well, after he gets caught and and they kind of start ignoring him, but he wants to try to make amends, and he's like, "Hey, can I sit with y'all?" I thought that's where we would get the moment where he's like, yeah, even though later on we get the whole moment where Gabriella's like, yeah, like I get people who need money. I thought they would be more understanding, like, oh wait, yeah, like your parents probably do need the extra cash, so we understand it. And so I thought the movie is gonna shift into, like I said, being more about Val and Brink learning to find some of mutual respect for one another.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
No, this was not that movie, but that would have been certainly an interesting approach. Any other moments we want to highlight and celebrate? Or are we good to move on to grading the movie?
That's a great. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about this.
All right, Christian, as the newest one to Brink, I want to hear what would you grade this movie on a scale of A+ to F?
I'd be down to give it A-.
A-? Mm-hmm. All right, that's solid. From
like I have
one
some,
of the most
like
limited, I would say.
Like I have some negatives about it, but those are just like I know that those are just clashing with my personality.
Yeah.
And if anything, they kind of add to the fun of it. Like they bring out like my negative points about it are just like things that bring out the old man in me that make me shake my finger at these kids.
These kids are lying.
Which
elders.
at the end of the day, it kind of there's kind of a funness to that. So
A-. That is a
because I would be down to watch again. It's hard for me to find time or want to watch a movie again, let alone something this old and this like this just isn't usually my wheelhouse. But no, it has enough fun in there that, and I was really impressed with a lot of the skating. Yes, I know a lot of it is stunt actors and stuff, but like there's some shots where it looks like the kids are like doing some really cool stuff, and so I'm legit impressed. And
How about you, Cameron?
I give it an A+. It's without a doubt one of the best Disney products we're gonna ever see on this show. So,
Frank?
Yeah, like it's definitely not a perfect movie, but like we said, this is definitely one of the best Disney Channel original movies, if not the best. And I guess like I don't want to go too high with it, but I'll just go A+. Like I mean, might as well. Like, can't go any higher. Like
I don't want to go too high with it, so I'm gonna go with the highest option.
No, but that's where I'm torn because I don't want to go too high, so maybe I should go minus where he's at, and I'm like, fuck it, A+. Brink, it's Brink, skate better.
Skate better.
It's Brink, skate better. All right, Logan, how about you?
I'm gonna give it an A-. I think it's the best because I mean I gave and like I guess I'm grading on like the scale of like a Disney Channel original movie, like I kind of do every time I've been on. And I think it's better than Mom's Good Day with Vampire and Phantom Menace, which you gave B's to some degree. It's great. Like it's heartfelt, it's funny, it's goofy, it's silly, and it like unabashedly owns all of those different like moods and genres all at the same time. I love it. Like Brink shouldn't work. Like it just shouldn't work. It should be an utter mess. And the fact that like it holds it all together and like actually kind of like subverts your expectations and is clever and you think it's gonna be at times is like really rad. Like I think this era of Disney Channel original movies is what people from our generation think of when they think of this movie, and I think things like Brink and Johnny Tsunami and Halloween Town and Xenon and Smart House all came from this era, and I think they're all doing stuff that's so different and so cool, and yeah, like, I don't know, like, Brink isn't the greatest movie ever made, but like, Brink is hella good, and like, it's better than it should be, and I find that really charming, so like, I'm glad that we've established our new PAX tradition of watching Brink every PAX East and West.
This is the second time I've watched Brink at a PAX.
I'm just saying, it won't be the last. I can assure you.
When I said we rewatched this like 2 years ago, it was like PAX West 2018, and we showed Zyger Brink for the first time.
I got great news for PAX West 2020.
But this again, I'm always down to watch Brink. It's a great movie, so I'm never going to turn it down.
Yeah,
Trevor, what about you?
That is fair. I would, if the whole movie was at the level that we get the father-son stuff, this would be an easy A+ for me. It's not all there. Like those sequences are A+.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give like everything else being it's still great. So I'm gonna give it an A, just a kind of flat A. But yeah, it flirts with A+ for me.
Yeah. It's really
easily the best of the Disney
Yes.
Channel original movies. I think this is up there with. In terms of like my personal ratings over the course of the series, I think that puts this with like Goofy Movie and Imagineering Story. I think are the only ones in this upper echelon.
Rarefied.
And I appreciate that like You went with like B- for Phantom Megaplex, B+ for Mom's Got a Date, A- for this because you're saving your A+ for Johnny Tsunami. I see the game you're playing, Logan.
Johnny Tsunami in Halloween Town
I see
again.
It. I see it. But yeah, I'm gonna go with just a straight across the board A. I don't know if I will find or see a Disney Channel original movie that reaches A+ levels for me.
Yeah. I'm curious. Yeah.
But this is a solid.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel like I just like what Logan said. With the Disney Channel originals, I'm grading on the curve of Disney Channel originals versus the other ones.
Yes.
But even without that, like this is
Yeah.
a great movie. Like it's the thing. Like it is a legitimately like really good, fun movie.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like it just works.
Speaking of diving into the extra credit, other suggestions if you like this one that are recommended by Disney Plus. This is the first Disney Channel original movie that has like actual real theatrically released movies in its other suggestions,
Hey, hell
which
yeah,
I think
here we go.
speaks to
The quality.
in part the quality that we have here. It is a mix of kind of Disney Channel movies and others. So we have Alley Cat's Strike about like the bowling. We have Double Team, which I think we
The
joked,
two twins. Yeah.
the two twins. We joked at the name, but I believe that's the one with
Pretty good.
That's the Double Dutch one that somebody mentioned earlier, maybe.
No, it's the two twins playing basketball based on a real story.
Okay, there you
It's
go.
pretty good
I
actually.
forgot that one
It's
existed.
pretty dramatic at times.
You know, it is. That one is. But I guess that's based on the true story.
Yeah. So yeah.
You have Johnny Tsunami.
Great. Fantastic.
You have
Go
Right on Track.
That one I remember liking.
Yeah.
That one's about like these like young girls that drag race.
Yeah.
I don't see what that has to do with Brink other than like that's an extreme
sport.
Yeah, like
You have the iconic The Sandlot.
Absolutely.
Which I was not even realizing was a Disney.
I did not know
Neither
that
did I.
movie either.
Because originally it
Oh,
was
I realized that.
Boxer
Yeah.
Games.
Is that one of the ones you and I went and saw, Cameron? Did we go see The Sandlot?
No, we did not.
It's such a
I
beautiful
saw
You
The
went, to see,
Sandlot.
you went to see The Sandlot.
I
You
saw
invited
The
me, but I wasn't
Sandlot.
able to go.
Yeah, that's right. I saw The Sandlot like again within the last year at Alamo.
Sandlot's really good.
It's still a great movie. That one still holds up. So I'm definitely going to try and get that one on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rookie of the Year, another.
Yes. Yes.
You have Full Court Miracle.
Damn.
And Going to the Mat are the
I
extra
think I've
credits.
seen that one. That's the
I think I've seen
yeah.
every one of those movies except for Alley Cat Tracks.
Yeah, I think same.
Extracurriculars. What else are we watching on Disney Plus? Anybody have anything they want to shout out Disney Plus wise that they've been watching? Obviously, we watched this while we're here
Yeah.
at PAX. We haven't had time to watch anything else, so we have not been.
Watch Tron Uprising.
Tron Uprising? Is that on Disney Plus? All right.
I'm still going through The Mandalorian whenever I get back.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've been watching a lot of DuckTales.
Oh, hell yeah.
So keep an eye out for that because that's going to be likely an upcoming episode.
What a great show.
The 2017 DuckTales. Not that the other one is.
Either one,
also
yeah.
great.
Exactly. Either one, you're killing me.
Yeah. So that is going to do it for this week's episode of That D Plus Show.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone here for joining me to talk about Brink.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow all of my guests at That Nerdy Site. We'll go through them one by one. You can follow Logan at Lefty Logie. Logan, what do you want to shout out?
Go Big, Go Home. Watch Johnny Tsunami. You can check out all of our PAX East content. It's all over the internet in place. Go do that.
Go Big, Go Home. The etymology of which was allegedly started by a motorcycle parts company.
Yeah.
Not
But also, before that, it was used in different jargon. Before that.
in
It's
skiing.
pretty
In skiing.
Skiing jargon.
If that's
Either
not
way.
in the IMDb trivia for Johnny Tsunami, we need to go
I
add
need to-
that
I need
in.
to add
the
We need to
table,
start
yeah.
documenting the trivia that we find.
One of our many late night conversations this week involved
Go Big, Go
looking
Home.
up looking up where did because people were saying Go Big or Go Home started and was originated in Johnny Tsunami. I was
Which
like,
is kind of true.
I gotta feel like that was a phrase before 1999, and it was.
Well, the movie was probably filmed in like 1998.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Okay. You can follow Cameron at Rev Cabot. What do you want to shout out, Cameron?
Check out all of our PAX content, and especially check out thatnerdysite.com and youtube.com/thatnerdysite for all of our great work that we've been working on and we'll be putting up in the next couple of weeks. And that's it.
Cool. You can follow Frank at Irrelevant Jokes. Anything you want to plug, Frank?
Yeah, just the same old youtube.com/thatnerdysite. It's a PAX East 2020. That was where we're here recording this, so there's going to be a lot of awesome content going up on there. Interviews, previews, all kinds of fun stuff, recaps. So definitely check out all that fun content on there.
And you can follow Christian at PixelBrave. Anything you want to plug, Christian?
Yeah, same thing. Lots of fun PAX content coming out soon. I also host an anime podcast, which you can find on Twitter at @AnimePod.
Great. You can follow me at Trevor J. Starkey. Echo, all that stuff. We've been doing a ton of PAX stuff, and we'll continue to do a ton of PAX stuff as we all depart back to our homes here in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a good time. Christian, did you want to come back in for another?
Yeah, one more thing. I was also spend most of the week working for What's Good Game, so go check them out. What's Good Game.
Yep. You follow all of the latest from the site at That Nerdy Site, or go to thatnerdysite.com, or as has already been highlighted, youtube.com/thatnerdysite.
Yep.
We upload all of our podcasts there, as well as we'll be having a ton of PAX East content out there over the next few days. If you would like to be on that D Plus show, you can go to thatnerdysite.com/D+guest and fill out a little form there. Let me know what Disney Plus offering you want to come and talk about, and we'll try and work on squeezing people in, get people added to the schedule here in the next few weeks. If you like what you hear, please like, rate, review, subscribe, share with all your friends, and all that fun stuff. And if you do feel so inclined, you can always support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thatnerdysite. Thank you for joining us. As always, stay nerdy, be good to each other. Class dismissed.
Skate better.